Well, hello there, fellow geeks and geekettes. This morning, I woke up wanting to read and enjoy some Judge Dredd today, and maybe even watch the good Judge Dredd film with Carl Urban in the role of Judge Dredd. And coincidentally, I'm working out in my Judge Dredd t-shirt today, so let's warm up. Let's do some warming up breasts, and then I might do some review of a comic book that I recently acquired, a Judge Dredd comic. So let's do it. Warm up those breasts. I am the law! Alright, I won't make a video of my workout today, so let's skip right to the review. For you it's going to be a second, for me, probably a couple of hours before I, sit down and get to the review, so yeah. Well, it has been a couple of hours. Some things needed to be dealt with. I needed to go places, unfortunately. Two places, you can go, actually, in this day of and age of self-quarantine. I had to go to get some groceries, and then there was an accident. I broke my glasses, so I had to glue them because all the eye doctors just, they are all closed. So I had to glue my glasses, so I can see, so I can watch some nice films. Come the evening, watch some nice 80s action films or horrors, and only then I had time to sit back and enjoy rereading some Judge Dredd comics. Now I have a couple of Judge Dredd comic books, ranging from the oldest ones, from the 1980s and 1990s, to more contemporary ones. I believe that the most contemporary Judge Dredd comic I own is Dark Justice, but and I originally wanted to do review on that, but then I just wanted to enjoy some Simon Bisley artwork, and in addition to this, the comic book that I have decided to review is the one that I recommended in one of my first recommendation videos. And also, it is a crossover with my other favorite hero, and that's Batman, right? So, as I said in the recommendation video, not only is it a crossover between two characters, great characters, but also between two different publishers. Now, I love Judge Dredd, although I think that he is one of the more overlooked comic book characters. I believe he is I don't think that not many people talk about Judge Dredd that much. I don't know whether it is because he's a British hero, and American comic books have always been more popular than the British ones, or because there weren't any huge movie blockbusters about Judge Dredd, of the type of the Avengers or the Dark Knight. Of course, there were the two films, the first one from the 80s or 90s, well, with Sylvester Stallone, which was awful, and the second one with Carl Urban, which was fantastic, but I don't think I don't think many people know about it. Well, Judge Dredd fans know, but the general public, I'm not that sure. In any case, I love Judge Dredd because, well, he is a simple character and a complex character at the same time. He is, in many ways, very similar to Batman, because he's a man of principles, right? He's got his own code, right? He is the, futuristic judge and jury and executioner from the post-apocalyptic sci-fi world in America, Mega City 1, where he looks over the law and order, and he is really a tough man. He just you commit the slightest crime and you're finished, you're done, because if you are in the vicinity of a Judge Dredd, because he will at least put you in jail for a very, very long time, or execute you for the slightest slightest crime committed. But what I also like about the Judge Dredd comics is that they contain a lot of humor. Very, very British humor, which I like. Indeed, it was, after all, created by Pat Mills, a British writer, whom I met 2 years ago in Prague at the same convention where I met Jim Lee. So not only have I got my Hush single issue signed, but I also have a single issue of Slain, another overlooked comic book hero, signed by Pat Mills, and he's such a nice guy. He's we chatted for a while, and he really found a couple of minutes for every single fan. Not only did he just write down his name on your comic if you had one, but he really chatted with you. He was quite witty. There was a panel with him, and he was telling stories about Judge Dredd, about creating Judge Dredd, about creating the strontium dog, or however it is pronounced, about Slain and his vampire gothic horror comic book Requiem, which just came out in the Czech Republic, the second volume already. I've got it, and he's awesome. Now, this is exactly what you would expect it to be. The premise or the story is that the main villain of Judge Dredd, who is called Judge Death, and as I said it in the first recommendation video, this is a clear inspiration for Scott Snyder's and Greg Capullo's The Batman Who Laughs. Obviously, just look at that, right? So Judge Death comes back as villains do, but he finds a way to a different dimension, from Mega City 1, the world of 2000 AD, to Gotham City, the world of DC Comics. And because he is a character who believes that because only living humans or living beings commit crime, then life itself is a crime. That's why he wants to eradicate all life and kill all humans, all living beings. He just wants to, really kill all the people in Gotham, because not only they are alive, but also, the crime rate in Gotham City is quite infamous and famous among, the comic book readers. But of course, in Gotham he meets the Batman, right? And Batman is just not okay with Judge Death wanting to eradicate Gotham. And so it happens that they swap places, right? Batman accidentally gets to the dimension of Judge Dredd. He gets to Mega City 1, and there he meets Judge Dredd, right? And Judge Anderson. And, at first when two heroes meet, they don't know each other. They think that, that the other one is a dick. So they fight and they argue. There's some fist fight, very, very manly. being drawn and painted by Simon Bisley, then provides you with a tremendous read. Just look at now. Wait, they haven't met yet. I'm trying to find the moment when Judge Dredd is interrogating Bruce Wayne because he demasks Batman, right? So he puts Batman in chains because he doesn't like vigilantes and he's from a different dimension, and Judge Dredd doesn't trust anybody. And just look at the artwork. Well, it's not really. Well, so there's an art of Judge Anderson. Who cares, right? So he puts Batman in chains and he interrogates him. And then Judge Anderson comes because they call her because, she's a psychic, so she can read Batman's mind, whether he's telling the truth or not. And then Batman gets pissed off because he wants to get to Gotham very quickly to save Gotham from Judge Death. And he punches Judge Dredd in the face, and then they fight, and it's all very awesome and action-packed and pure escapism, and I love it. In the meantime, in Gotham City, Judge Death meets Scarecrow, and because they are all villainous villains, they team up and decide to eradicate Gotham together. So Judge Death teams up with Scarecrow, and Batman teams up with spoiler alert, not Judge Dredd, but with Judge Anderson. Yeah, and look at that picture. Look at that, Judge Anderson and Batman behind her on the Judge bike, and there above Judge Dredd being pissed off because he wanted to put Batman in jail and really, forget about all the Judge Death situation because he is in a different dimension, so he's not in his jurisdiction any longer. It's the talent of Simon Bisley here. Really, he is gifted by the gods. And one more thing came up my mind. Look at Judge Anderson, right? Well, let me refer to my previous video about strong female characters. There's another one that I could talk about, invented in, was it the 1970s, 1980s? It was completely normal to have strong female characters, and nobody was crazy about it, right? Like, whoa, it's a wonder. No, it was normal because it is normal. So fuck off, right? Judge Anderson and Batman go to Gotham City via, interdimensional portal, and they try to save Gotham City from Judge Death. Look at that, and Scarecrow. And I'm only going to show you one more panel, and then I'm going to stop talking about the plot. So I don't want to spoil it for you, although it's like almost 30 years old comic book, but as I said, Judge Dredd isn't that popular, so I don't think many people read this. So the conclusion you will have to find out for yourself. It's just Scarecrow uses his fear gas on Judge Death, and if you were wondering what of what a Judge Death is afraid, a character like that, basically living death. It's bunnies and little ducks and toys and Pegasus and unicorns and very sweet things. So he is afraid of these things. I thought that this panel was hilarious and I laughed my ass off. So there's that. A crossover between two tremendously awesome, action-packed, manly, masculine, true masculine, 19 masculine characters, Batman and Judge Dredd, and Judge Death and Scarecrow, and Judge Anderson fighting, traveling between dimensions, being, this being a crossover in between two different publishers, and it's just, as I said, pure escapism, action-packed ride. The story isn't that complex. It's just really to let your mind rest for a bit and to wander into, fictitious lands and forget about reality, to have fun. This is, in my opinion, what comic books should be about. They should be fun. They should be action-packed. They should be entertaining, I don't think I don't. Oh well, I don't think I don't really like when comic books, are delving too much into politics or social political things or reality and la la di da blah blah blah. I've got enough of these things in my real life. I don't really need to read about them in comic books. And one last thing I have to mention, like for the millionth time, is the fantastic artwork of Simon Bisley. Look at that Batman. Look at that! That's like the ultimate representation of the Dark Knight. And of course, Simon Bisley is very well known for painting and drawing his characters in a way that he over-exaggerates, their muscular structure and their bodies. So all the men have tremendously huge muscles, and all the women have huge breasts, huge butts, and as I said, everything in Simon Bisley's art is exaggerated, and I love it. I just love the way Simon Bisley mixes media, so that he paints with a brush. He uses ink. He uses pencils and paint and and sprays, and everything put together with his talent. The result is like really a piece of art. Every of these pages could be framed and put on a wall, and you wouldn't regret it. But that would mean I would have to rip this comic book apart, and I am not going to do that. After having reread it, it goes into the comic bag and back on my shelf, because it is an older edition. I don't even know if this was re-released in one way or another. I think there was a collection of like Judge Dredd and Batman recently published by DC, and 2000 AD might really get it, because there are some more stories. And I might put it in the bag later because I can't do it now. Right, so I really do recommend this read. It's a tremendous read. If you can get it, get it. If you are a fan of Judge Dredd or or Batman, or both of them, just read it, enjoy it, sit back, enjoy your favorite beverage, and try to survive this age of self-distancing and self-quarantine and self-isolation. And that would be all from me, my friends. I give this comic book 10 Judge Dredd helmets out of 10 Judge Dredd helmets, and 10 Batman cowls out of 10 Batman cowls. And I will see you in the next video, which will be about, I don't know what, but something interesting. So, see you soon, and bye.